the Week 3 edition of TSR Sunday NFL Rundown. I am joined by none other than Modern Life Dating. You guys can go to his website, modernlifedating.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel, Modern Life Dating. You can also follow him on Twitter at Modern Life John. On the Instagram, you're also Modern Life John, correct?
Modern Life Dating on Instagram.
Modern Life Dating on Instagram. Also joining us today for the first time is Cultivate Crypto. I'm pretty sure that's probably his
yes.
online name. I don't know that Cultivate Crypto is your birth name. How's it going, man?
No, you can call me Charlie if you want to go by name, but Cultivate Crypto also works too. Good for the branding. But things are going good. Love fucking football, so looking forward to the chat.
Good stuff. You don't find too many quote unquote crypto nerds who are also into sports.
That's right.
Really cross over. It's so it's good.
It's kind of weird, but I played football actually back in high school for a year, but I was mainly a basketball guy back in junior high school.
Good stuff. So who's your team? We know MLD is a Cowboys fan. Of course, I'm in Philadelphia. I love the Eagles. Who's your squad?
Well, it's a fortunate yet unfortunate one, which is Minnesota.
Minnesota is one of those teams. I can't remember the last time the Vikings had the number 1 overall pick, and I can't remember the last time they finished with the best record in the. Actually, that was 98.
1998 with Randy Moss, 15-1, baby. But then we all choked with versus Atlanta that year.
Yep, Gary Anderson missed the 1 field goal all year long, and then of course the Falcons went on to lose Super Bowl 33. To the then 2-time Super Bowl champion Denver Broncos. I think Terrell Davis was the MVP in the first Super Bowl they won at 32. Anyway, go around. Dude, my mind it's a sports almanac. I can literally do all this stuff. So let's go ahead and get this party started. Like I said, Miami J is going to join us a little bit later on. If you guys want to call into the show, it is 914-205-5356. Questions, comments, concerns, debate, et cetera, et cetera. If you want to tell me that, XYZ NFL team sucks, if you want to tell me, this team is going to the Super Bowl, that's perfectly fine as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to talk about topic number 1. So this morning, Antonio Brown tweeted out, there was a tweet that he put out that said that he was done playing in the NFL. And this obviously comes on the heels of him being released by the New England Patriots. Now, I'm told, I actually just saw here on the ESPN Sunday NFL Countdown, Adam Schefter said that the Patriots could certainly live with whatever Antonio Brown did or didn't do in the past before he got there. But apparently the reason why they decided to cut ties with him is because he sent threatening text messages to the now second quote-unquote accuser of his. So I guess my question to you, we'll start with MLD here. Has Antonio Brown, has he played his last down in the NFL, or will a desperate team pick him up at some point?
No, I think he is not. I think he'll get signed by somebody. I think I'm just blown away that this man has not even gone through due process with the entire situation. And everybody is coming at him with knives for this whole situation. That being said, no, not at all, man. When you got teams like the Miami Dolphins, going 43-0 against the Patriots, there is desperation in the air. And the problem here is that Bill Belichick is a no-nonsense kind of man. Like, if Bill Belichick had a gun and he had to kill you for something, there's no pleading with that man emotionally. Like, you're going to die. And the same way, the Patriots, they are just all about business. They're all about doing your job, winning Super Bowls, getting to the Super Bowl. And that's why it's literally, we're coming up on almost 20 years of the Patriots just consistently being a front runner in the AFC for Super Bowls and being in the playoffs. When was the last time they missed the playoffs?
I can't remember. It was, I don't know. I can't remember the last time.
It was in the 90s, right?
Yeah, something like that.
So, I think Bill Belichick just, because he walked out of that press conference when all this loser ass media idiots were just asking him question after question about Antonio Brown, even though Antonio Brown had a fucking great game too. 43-0.
Yes, yep.
and they just don't like. This is just the typical blue pill mainstream media. They just want to tear this man apart because that's what they do. I really, honestly, my heart is for Antonio Brown. I don't think he is guilty at all. And I think even when he is exonerated of these charges, the mainstream media, none of these people are going to be like, saying like, oh, he's still a bad guy or whatever. Like they just want to have this guy guilty for life.
Charlie, what are your thoughts? Will Antonio Brown play in the NFL again, or will another team sign him? And I want to preface that with this. What you guys are seeing on your screen is what AB tweeted earlier this morning. He says, quote, will not be playing in the NFL anymore. These owners can cancel deals to do whatever they want at any time. We will see if the NFLPA, the Players Association, will hold them accountable. Said they can just void agreements, guarantees anytime they want, going on $40 million in 2 months to see if they pay up. What are your thoughts on this, Charlie? Is Antonio Brown done with the NFL, like he says here, or is he more or less just grandstanding here?
Probably both. He will definitely play again if he wants to. So I don't think there's going to be like a Colin Kaepernick type situation where the NFL just tries to keep him out. I do think he will play again if he wants to. Now, the thing with him, right, he comes in with hot air balloons, had the cryogenic, or I forget exactly what it was, the foot burn stuff before training camp. So personality-wise, right, he is very, eclectic or, unique, right? So he's the type of guy that I feel like he needs to be in a situation where people are pulling for him. If a whole team is like, hey, come here, we'll create a good environment for you, we'll help you out, then I think, he'd be happy to join again. But I do feel that, he feels he's, been singled out with the, with Pittsburgh and also with the Raiders and then now with the Patriots. I think the actual move itself was a little less to do with him because, they were saying, oh, you made these comments via text message. And I heard a couple things actually about that too. Some of them being that the text didn't come from a number that was associated with him, but actually it was came from a number that maybe like he had friends send these messages or whatever, but it's all hearsay, right?
Sure, of course.
But what I think is that, the Patriots have had a string of bad luck when it comes to PR, especially when it comes to, crimes in general with Robert Kraft and Aaron Hernandez. So I think for that aspect, they just wanted to distance themselves from any PR that could be potentially negative in that regard. So
I disagree with you. I think that I don't think the Patriots are actually, you know what? I'll partially disagree with you. I don't think the Patriots are completely averse to bad press. I mean, you said it yourself. There was the Aaron Hernandez thing. They immediately cut ties with him. But now, of course, we're talking about Spygate, Deflategate, all of these other kinds of things. I don't think the Patriots are trying to stay away from bad media because if anybody can really handle that kind of stuff, it is New England. We all hear about the Patriots way. I just think they don't want the circus. And it's just like MLD said a little bit earlier, all of these questions that the media asks, they're disingenuous questions. There's nothing that anybody on the Patriots can tell them about the Antonio Brown situation that most people don't know already. The only reason why they're asking these questions is to try to pester the Patriots enough. Okay, you know what? We don't want these questions anymore. This is the last straw. We got to get him out of here. And I think that is an objective. I think the media purposely puts these things front and center. What can you tell me about Antonio Brown? Like, dude, like he's the second string punter. What the hell does he know about AB? But they want to continue to pester and they want to continue to bother these teams that have him to the point where they say, look, listen, we don't want to deal with this stuff anymore. We got to get him out of here. We welcome Miami J to the panel. We're talking about
what's going on?
Antonio Brown. Yeah, what's going on, man? We're talking about the Antonio Brown situation, and MLD said that, hey, Antonio Brown probably will play in the NFL again. There's always the Miami Dolphins, of course. Antonio Brown being from that area. What are your thoughts on the AB situation? Do you think he's ever going to play in the NFL again, or is this just grandstanding?
Well, first, let me say, I think the media keeps pestering even more because it's the Patriots. I think because they can pester Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, they're pestering even more. But yeah, I do think he'll play again. Absolutely. I mean, he's not out of the league for injury or or bad play, like say Des Bryant, he's out of the league for a disciplinary thing. You know, come last December, we thought Kareem Hunt was never going to play again. He'll absolutely play again. Probably not this year, but he will play again.
I think what this goes.
I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, I think what this goes to show is that talent trumps all. We get a lot of people
Of
who
course.
like to. Yeah, I mean, this is just how it is. This is not only with sports. This is with everything, right? Listen, the reason why Ray Rice is not in the league anymore is because he was diminished. He still could have been productive for an NFL football team, but because he was, I guess, on the back nine, he never got another shot. Well, guess what? Kareem Hunt kicked someone, and then I think there were a couple of other situations. Tyreek Hill, I mean, allegedly he was talking all, crazy to his baby mama, and he not only did they not suspend him, he got rewarded with a 3-year, $54 million contract. Why? Because Tyreek Hill.
Let me say something about Tyreek Hill.
Sure.
And that shows how far feminists have moved the needle in their favor. If Zeke Elliott got dragged through this whole circus, and who was the linebacker for the 49ers?
The linebacker.
They got dragged through this whole circus for alleged domestic abuse.
Reuben Foster, I think.
Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah.
For alleged domestic living is worse than abuse to a child. Tyreek Hill was alleged child worse than all these others.
Well, I think that's listen, I understand your question and what you're saying. Well, no, listen, I agree with you. The NFL is sort of acting as the judge, jury, and executioner with these particular things. Antonio Brown, guys, let's not forget, he hasn't been arrested. He hasn't been charged. I mean, nothing has happened to him legally. All that's happened is he is being, I guess, sued by whatever, Brittany Taylor in civil court. He hasn't been arrested. As a matter of fact, I think this week in the state of Pennsylvania, whatever county this was in, they're not going to charge him. There's not enough evidence to charge him. At least that's what I can see. Yet here we are. He is on he's been on 3 NFL teams here in the last 6 months, and he is now out of the NFL. And everyone's wondering what's going to happen. Quickly here before we move on, shout out to Scott Graff with the $5 super chat. Says Brown is going to rush for more yards than OJ Simpson. I don't know. I wouldn't bet. I don't know. I wouldn't bet against that. Sam Whiskey with the $4.99 super chat says, more importantly, the Eagles are going to destroy the Cowboys on October 20th. Cowboys got no real GM, no real coach. Men don't get Antonio Brown. Very, very good. And we'll certainly discuss those as we move forward. Let's go around the panel one last time about this Brown situation. And I guess what I want to ask is this: what is it going to take? Because whoever said that, don't get Antonio Brown. What's it going to take for guys, I guess NFL players, professional athletes, to understand? Hey, listen, we can't put ourselves in these situations. By the same token, men are going to want to mess with women. They get women thrown at them all the time. That's just how this is, right? So what can people like Antonio Brown do to avoid situations like this with Brittany Taylor?
I don't know if they can.
I mean,
I didn't direct it here. MLD.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. It's funny. I just voiced my support for this guy just due to the fact that in a legal situation, this man has not received due process at all, and everybody is coming at him. And I don't understand this, but like Black Twitter has come at me with fucking pitchforks and torches and are telling me like this guy's a piece of shit and fuck Antonio Brown. I don't understand why people hate this guy. That being said, how a guy can avoid this is like you have to just realize as a celebrity that every single thing you do on a digital device can and will be used against you in a court of law. Sending dick pics, sending bitches nasty, Brett Favre, sending nasty text messages, sending threats, whatever, emails, the whole 9 yards. Like everything can be used against you. And I feel for the guy because honestly, he has a big target on his back because a lot of these sexual allegations, it's funny how they come along with request of money
Yes.
at some point during the interaction. Like, okay, like, are we just going to be that blind and just, are people that stupid? And the answer is yes. So I just think that you have to be very, very self-aware and very cautious of everything you send out.
Charlie, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, in terms of like them like putting themselves in that position or not, it's the same as like, right, if they go to a party the night before a game. I think it was like Joe Namath who admitted when he was in New York, he always, went out all the time before games. And even though it wasn't, like by curfew and everything, it wasn't supposed to be the case, but, he's able to play well even if he wasn't at his 100%. But, it just takes self-discipline. So most of these, you have how many players, right? 53 in each team. So, over 1,000 players definitely in the entire league. Somebody's going to make a mistake, whether it's proven as they are guilty in a court of law, or like in the NFL, they tend to go with guilty until proven innocent in these cases. So it just takes self-discipline. So it's all down to the individual. If they are on a team like the Patriots, I feel like if they're in a better structure, they do have more of a chance at, limiting any types of events that could impact either their play negatively or their legal situation. But in the end, I think it just comes down to the individual. So you're always going to get guys who are, messing up, whether they get caught by the law or, they just get accusations thrown at them because people don't like them.
Yeah, I don't know that you understood the question there, Charlie. No, and I'm not saying that to be, be disrespectful, but
no worries, yeah.
They say that is because you said, they need to use a little bit more self-discipline. I'm not going to self-discipline myself when it comes to sex. If I want to have sex, I'm going to have sex, right?
No, of course, I didn't mean it that way.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure to get that clear.
I just meant like, MLD was saying, people putting themselves in situations where they could, maybe on social media, for example, saying something that might be taken out of context.
That makes perfect sense. Yeah.
Or just being the wrong place, wrong time.
Yes. Many, more careers have ended because of social media, really, than anything here in the last few years. So, yeah, self-discipline in that regard. Yeah, my bad. I guess I missed that.
Yeah. I just not putting themselves like, in the middle of a club when,
Sure.
Night before a game, that kind of thing.
Absolutely. And Zeke Elliott could probably take a page of that because him and the other guy, Jameis Winston, those guys seem to, consistently put themselves in situations that are potentially volatile. One guy said in the chat something about an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. Listen, it's going to have to come down to that. And I actually had a guy call in during the AB show, and he plays for the University of Maryland basketball team. And he's like, listen, man, I was smashing this girl and now I'm not paying any attention to her. Now all of a sudden she's telling me that she's going to accuse me of rape if I don't come over and bang her. I was like, listen, dude, what you have to do is you have to record, man. Dude, wear a GoPro, wear spy equipment. These guys have more than enough money to protect themselves. Put up a bunch of cameras in your house. If you're on the road, buy 5 or 6 smartphones and put them all around and record everything. You can get 256 gigabytes on a smartphone. Record. You can get every angle. That way, when the DA is looking at is watching the screen of her telling me, "Oh, Antonio, please bang me in the ass some more, please nut all over my face," he can then look at the accuser and say, "Okay, that looks pretty consensual to me," and then we're not in this position in the first place. Brian Waller says, dude, really? He is hang on a second. Brian Waller is he's a tough guy. And he said AB did this to himself, self-inflicted demise. See, Brian Waller, that is a man who doesn't like Antonio Brown for one of maybe 2 reasons. Maybe Brian Waller is black and he doesn't like black people, so he doesn't like black athletes who are flamboyant, or Brian Waller just hates professional athletes. Listen, it's your God-given right to not like black people. It's your God-given right to be jealous of professional athletes. That doesn't mean we're going to glorify it here. If you hate on professional athletes, to me, that's a you problem. That's just all there is to it. Yes, I will agree with Brian in some regards. Some of this is self-inflicted, just a little bit of it. The tweets, maybe the outlandish behavior, burning himself, getting frostbite on his feet, the whole helmet thing, that's self-inflicted. But guess what? Those things didn't get him kicked off of teams, right? Those things, as a matter of fact, he asked for his release from the Raiders. No, the reason why he is out of a league has nothing to do with what he did do. This isn't self-inflicted. This was inflicted by a woman who was looking for a payday. That's what this is. So, Brian, if you want to call in and disagree, that's perfectly fine. But if you type one more thing in the chat, you're going to get timed out because I don't do internet gangsters on this program. You are watching TSR Sunday NFL Rundown. We're going to go as Miami J is going to be excellent. So let's here. And we are going to talk about the New York Giants naming Daniel Jones the starter, I guess, for today's game. It looks like the New England Giants have moved on from Eli Manning. They have now benched him in favor of Daniel Jones. He is the rookie. They drafted him 6th overall. He's not a Duke. He's facing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who aren't really world beaters at this point. They're probably a below-average football team. A lot of people are excited to see this guy. Obviously, most of all New York Giants fans. MLD, I'm going to start with you. How do you think Daniel Jones, what do you think about Daniel Jones to begin with, and how do you think he's going to do against Tampa?
If I can quote the great Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy? I don't know who the fuck Daniel Jones is. I just think that, honestly, I think that the Giants just look so bad. They look almost as bad as the Dolphins. And it's just like, I don't think changing quarterbacks is going. I mean, maybe it'll help. I don't know. Eli Manning has like this ability to play like completely shit football. And the only person he can beat is Tom Brady in the Super Bowl 2 times.
Dude, listen, he's 12-94 against the league. Against Tom Brady in the game that matters the most, he is undefeated.
He's 2-0. And like the second game, I think they went to the Super Bowl 8-8 that year, right?
No, they were 9-7 when they went
9-7.
Yeah, see, the first Super Bowl they beat the Patriots in. This was in 2007. The Patriots beat the New York Giants on the last game of the season, and that's what gave the Patriots the 16-0. And the Giants played them tooth and nail. They couldn't improve or worsen their playoff position, but they decided to play full throttle, and because of that, they sort of got the book on them. Of course, they pulled the upset Super Bowl 42. They were 11-5, but in the Super Bowl 46 is, if I'm not mistaken, I think they were 9-7, so they barely squeaked in.
Right. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know much about Daniel Jones, to be quite honest with you. I just don't know. But at the same time, I just think that the organization is just in such turmoil. It's been like the past 4 years, they've just been doing awful. And they used to be, I used to like dread the days when we played the Giants. Like, okay, like as a Cowboys fan, like we actually need to like pull out all the stops. I think the only person we have a losing record to in the NFC is the Giants. Everybody else we have a winning record against. So I don't know. I mean, where's this guy coming from? What was his draft? He
was drafted. Check this out. He was drafted number 6 overall by the New York Giants. Now, here's the thing. Here are the ties here. He went to Duke. Okay, Duke is the head coach of Duke is David Cutcliffe. David Cutcliffe does a quarterback camp with Peyton and Eli Manning and is very good friends with his father, Archie Manning. So that's that connective tissue there between Eli and Daniel Jones. That might be the reason why the Giants felt a little bit more comfortable. That being said, the reason why a lot of people were confused that Daniel Jones went before Dwayne Haskins is because Daniel Jones is playing in the ACC, right? He played in the ACC. I think he threw like 21 touchdown passes in 2 seasons, the last 2 seasons at Duke. He's athletic, but his completion percentage was 50% in the ACC, whereas Dwayne Haskins in the Big Ten, which is arguably the best conference in college football, threw 50 touchdown passes. Daniel Jones goes number 6. Dwayne Haskins goes number 15 overall to the Washington Redskins. But guess what? Daniel Jones has looked better than Dwayne Haskins so far. So maybe they know something we don't.
I don't know. I mean, we're going to see. I can't say how he will look, but I think he is walking into a train wreck. He's got I would hate to see this kid just get obliterated and his career just get completely fucked up in the next 3 years just due to this is wrong place, wrong time, wrong organization for him, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think that. Okay, you could be right, but if you're drafted number 6th overall, you're not going to the New England Patriots, right? Like that's kind of how these things go. Peyton Manning went to a terrible Indianapolis Colts team in '98. He was the number 1 overall pick. His first year, he was a dumpster fire, threw 30 interceptions or something like that. The rest is history. So, and also the New York Giants, they've upgraded that offensive line a little bit. So I don't think it's a dumpster fire situation that he's there. He does have Saquon Barkley. Golden Tate, I think, is coming back after his 4-game suspension for PEDs. Sterling Shepard seems to be on the rise. So I don't think he's in a bad situation. He's just not in a very good one, which, again, you can't expect as a rookie drafted early in the first round. Charlie, what are your thoughts on Daniel Jones? How do you think he's going to do?
Yeah, in terms of his background, I'm the same with Jonathan. I didn't really know much about him until the draft, and that's just because I usually follow the NFL more than I follow college football. But yeah, I think definitely those Peyton Manning connections definitely is what kind of tipped the scales towards him in terms of why they wanted to draft him, I think. The one thing he has going for him is the head coach, Pat Shurmur, being a very good offensive coordinator,
Yes.
And just an offensive mind overall. So I think they'll find a way, the first couple of games, he's going to have a hell of a hard time for sure. But I think they'll find a way to try to, make him throw mainly short passes, maybe keep things under 10 yards for the most part. Because like you said, Golden Tate's still not there. They don't have, a very good wide receiver core in general. So I think the main focus will be to protect him with the offensive line. As long as they can keep him from not getting sacked too much, then I think he has a fighting chance. Now, in terms of, the matchup against Tampa Bay actually did pretty good last week against the Carolina Panthers in terms of their defense, right? Mm-hmm. Which I was a little bit surprised about, but their defense looks decently solid. So I think he definitely does not win this game. But I think he might surprise a few people in the first couple of weeks. And as long as he doesn't, get obliterated by his offensive line, being really bad, then I think he might, for a rookie quarterback, he'll probably be average.
I agree. And the people that I point to in terms of being let down by their young quarterbacks being let down by their organization in terms of not protecting him, David Carr. David Carr was first. I think he was the first ever pick of the Houston Texans. David Carr was awesome. He was awesome coming out of Fresno State. He could run, he could throw, but guess what? He was shell-shocked after his first couple of years because the Houston Texans didn't have an offensive line. Andrew Luck just retired because he got beat up. Ryan Grigson, the GM for the Indianapolis Colts, terrible GM, never got Andrew Luck any help. Now you've got Deshaun Watson. And in Houston, Deshaun Watson is taking a bunch of hits, right? That's because Houston has a terrible offensive line. Now they just brought in Laramie Tunsil from Miami, so hopefully they're sort of learning those lessons. But I think the Giants are smart enough to understand, listen, we don't want Daniel Jones to go through what Deshaun Watson and Andrew Luck and David Carr went through. So we're going to make sure, listen, if he's going to fail, we want him to fail on his feet. We don't want him to get hurt. So hopefully the Giants can sort of figure that out. Miami J rejoining the podcast again from down in Miami. What are your thoughts on Daniel Jones and how does he do today against Tampa Bay?
I don't know. I think the jury's still out on how he'll do today. Having said that, I think it's a ballsy move by the Giants. They're essentially betting that their next decade and a half is going to be Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley just tearing up the league. I don't think he's in as bad a situation as, say, Josh Rosen was last year.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to see which rookie quarterback does better, him or Kyler Murray. They're both in crappy teams. I think Daniel Jones has some better weapons around him, especially at receiver and tight end than Murray does. But Kyler Murray's much more talented. So
okay.
It'll be interesting to watch. I think the bigger story here is Eli Manning being dropped so unceremoniously. Third game of the season, he wasn't great, but he didn't really give the Giants a reason to bench him. The reason is they're just betting on Daniel Jones for the future.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you, Miami J. I think Eli Manning, and a lot of people say Eli Manning deserved to sort of go out on his own terms. Guess what, man? He's been terrible for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's been evident that he is a shot fighter. They gave him two games to see if he could show him flashes. Listen, the Giants are going to win 4, maybe 5 games this season if they're lucky. It does you no good for Daniel Jones to sit on the sidelines and watch Eli do exactly what he should be doing, right? Experience is the best teacher. I say throw him to the Wolves, man. Let DJ get his nose bloodied. Let him get sacked. Let him throw a few pick sixes. This is how you learn in the NFL. So I think the Giants are doing the right thing. My prediction on Daniel Jones is I don't think he's going to look spectacular, but I think he's going to look a little bit better than we anticipate. I remember when he got drafted, we're all like, Daniel, who? What the hell? And everyone mocked Daniel Jones. But then he came out in the preseason and he looked really good. He looked a lot better than Eli Manning looked potentially. So let's things up for the Giants. I can't really think of another reason for them to keep him on the sideline any longer. Let the kid play, man. Throw him, dude. Definitely throw him in there. That's my opinion. Freelance Ronan, big thanks to him. Goes out to Freelance Ronan for the $5 super chat. Says, give me 1 second. Says TSR Sports Talk in full effect. Quick reminder here, a little public service announcement. No MGTOW talking here, guys. I'm tired of people saying, oh, go MGTOW, go MGTOW. I had a guy in the chat the other day tell my assistant, my administrator, Heather, that MGTOW was one step above the red pill. So I was, dude, get that out of it. Come on. This is sports talk. Let's not talk about MGTOW, blah, 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 blah. If you type in the word MGTOW, Autumn First Frostborn, I'm going to give you a warning. Do not type in the words MGTOW. Don't type in men going their own way. If you do, you're getting timed out. That's just all there is to it. Never Again has just aged himself because he says Bart Starr was my hero as a kid. Not a bad hero to have. Not a bad hero. Bart Starr, by the way, the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I think he recently just died, if I'm not mistaken. We're going to stay in the NFC East, and we're going to talk about my Philadelphia Eagles. We lost a close one to the Atlanta Falcons. A lot of guys were like, oh, Donovan, you must have been heartbroken, this, that, and the other. No, it wasn't heartbroken at all. For a couple of reasons. Number one, in 2017, when the Eagles started 11-1 before Wentz got hurt, Nick Foles takes over. We all know what happened after that. We lost our second game of the season. We lost to the Kansas City Chiefs, who were being led by then Alex Smith. Then we reeled off 10 straight. So I'm not really worried about that. Number two, we had a chance to win. Even though we were down Jackson, we didn't have Alshon Jeffrey. Everybody was hurt. And we were, I don't know, maybe an eyelash away from having a chance to win the football game. So I wasn't discouraged in that regard. What I was discouraged by was how many hits Carson Wentz took. I was even more deeply discouraged when I saw Carson Wentz run the football. I forget which play it was because I can't remember because my vision went completely black. But he takes the ball and he's sprinting towards the end zone. And dude, I stopped with. I was like, oh my God, what is he doing? This is exactly how he got hurt in LA. If my opinion, so the question is, he took a lot of hits against the Falcons, and you guys can see him. He's a big, strong kid. He's got a huge frame. He's almost the size of Cam Newton. He's got obviously his core is rock solid. You can see his trunk, his legs. He's a big, strong kid, but guess what? It doesn't matter how big and strong you are. You will get nicked up. I need Carson Wentz to stay clean. And it appears through week 2 that the Eagles don't have as good an offensive line as I thought they did. Maybe it's because it's the beginning of the season, have to shake off the rust. But if Wentz gets hit as many times moving forward as he did in the Falcons game this past Sunday night, he's not going to last the season. What are your thoughts, MLD?
Yeah, you guys' offensive line sucks, man. Poor guy. Looked like Tony Romo in 2009, just scrambling to make something happen. And I think he was 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. The guy just had no time to throw the ball. That being said, dude, I don't know if there is animosity between those teams, but that was a fucking great game. But both teams were playing hard football, like out to kill each other.
It was a good game, yeah.
I know. I know this is your team, so I don't want to like throw too much shade. But I honestly, this guy, if your offensive line doesn't get it together, this guy is also going to get fucked up. That he's going to get injured this season for sure. He was getting pulverized. He looked really bad. Honestly, he looked like he looked like shit. And I think a big part of that was, the pocket was collapsing nonstop, like play after play after play. And it reminded me of when Tony Romo just had to scramble for literally the entire season because our offensive line was just so awful back. I think it was 2014. That's when he started getting injured. I think he got injured 2013, 2014, 2015, and then 2016. So, can he survive the season? I would like to hope so, but the NFL. NFL, buddy, not for long. This is not soccer. This is not tennis.
I'll tell you this. It would be one thing if the Eagles had bad offensive linemen, right? Yeah. But you have you've got Jason Peters, who is as good a left tackle as there has ever been. He's going to walk into the Hall of Fame. Walter Jones, Jonathan Ogden, Anthony Munoz, Tony Baselli. He's up there with those guys, right? You got to protect Wentz's blind side. You've got Lane Johnson, who's probably the best right tackle in football. Jason Kelsey. I mean, it's not that we don't have a good offensive lineman. We just don't have a very good offensive line. It doesn't make any sense. And I said on the air last week, Doug Peterson, I would think, he says, listen, guys, we got to keep 11. We got to keep them clean. If you have to hold, if you have to chop block, if you have to commit penalties, get ejected, he can't see the turf or this is all for naught. Charlie, what are your thoughts on Wentz? Do you think Carson lasts the season, or do you think the Eagles get it together and start protecting him?
I think there's a better chance at them getting it together and starting to protect him. Like you said, the names that you guys have on the offensive line are solid players. So it might just be a thing where, for example, they just didn't play enough as a unit in the preseason to actually get, solid reps against, starting defensive lines that were coming at them real hard. So I think there's a chance that, after maybe week 4, because usually what I do is I determine the NFL after week 4, because the first 4 weeks is kind of a crapshoot. You get a lot of different, anomalies, different things that happen. So, and yeah, Doug Peterson's a really good coach, part of the Andy Reid's tree and all of that. So I think he has a very good chance if he can get protected, because, it's kind of, ironic that Foles already went down in his other team. So,
listen, Nick Foles is a god in this city. Like, dude, he'll never buy a drink in Philly again. But that is the unfortunate, twisted irony. So we let Nick Foles go. He signs with the Jaguars. Everyone holds their breath every time Wentz gets touched by a defensive lineman. And lo and behold, it's Nick Foles. And Nick Foles has been pretty durable through his career. I don't think he's ever missed any games with a significant injury. Once you know it, very first game, breaks his collarbone or clavicle. He's out for the season. Wentz is still on his feet.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. And Wentz has one thing on his side, which is his youth, right? And I did pay attention to his story as he was rehabbing. I mean, this guy has a lot of fucking heart. So I think he probably did as much as he could during his rehab. The Vikings had Adrian Peterson, who, got his ACL torn really, really bad and came back, and had the offensive player of the year next year. And he did have youth on his side at that time. AP, he's still a great player when he's fresh. But just because of his age, he has a lot more, potential for either getting injured or not being able to have all of his explosive plays for his whole game. So I see Wentz as maybe something potentially similar to that. So I think he did probably pay attention enough in rehab. And if they get the offensive line to be good around him, that gives him a decent chance. But he was making some really good throws, like, almost off of his knees even, which just shows his athletic ability.
Listen, and this is the thing. This is the paradox of the Eagles fan. That was the play of the year. We all saw it. He's 2 inches from his knees hitting the ground, right? And he still makes an accurate pass. Those are the kinds of plays that get him hurt for the team. Everybody says Carson Wentz is injury prone. No, Carson Wentz is not injury prone. He's a big, strong kid. No, Carson Wentz is prone to put himself in danger. Right? He didn't just step in the turf and shatter his knee like Teddy Bridgewater, who's built like a stick figure. No, Carson Wentz is a big, thick kid. When he gets hurt, it's because he gets hit by people who are bigger than he is. He's used to being the biggest, strongest, fastest player on the field, but that's never the case in the NFL. I think this is a mindset thing with him. Miami J, what are your thoughts? Is Carson Wentz going to last the season, or will the Eagles' offensive line get it together, and will he get it in his head? Listen, you don't have to be Superman.
I don't know if he gets it in his head that he doesn't have to be Superman. History is really not on his side when it comes to injuries. If I was putting money on it, I'd say he gets injured by halfway through the season.
Yeah.
Having said that, I do think the O-line can probably get it together. They're too talented not to. But I think the better question is, why are you starting Carson Wentz over Phillip Rivers on your fantasy team?
Why am I starting Carson Wentz over Phillip Rivers on my fantasy team?
Yeah, that Houston game's got to be a shootout.
Well, he's outshot the.
You're a homer. Just say it.
No, I've never drafted Carson Wentz. I've won football leagues, and my quarterback for all of those was Ben Roethlisberger, right? Now he's out for the season. I said, you know what? I'm going to take Wentz. I took Wentz because I thought he had a chance to win the MVP this season. I thought it was that kind of season. The second,
it still might be. If he doesn't get injured, if he stays healthy, he could.
Listen, if he stays healthy, then he is as good as there is.
And Deshaun Jackson coming back to Philly really, I think, is going to help them out in the passing game.
I'll tell you what, dude. Somebody in the chat says Carson Wentz looks like a reincarnation of Alex Smith. No, that's not.
No. You know what? I'm afraid if he gets injured, he's going to end up like Ryan Tannehill did.
I'm afraid if he gets injured, man, I think he might end up like maybe, I don't know. I can't really think of a good comparison, but he's ultra talented. He just hurt all the like Cam Newton. Cam Newton is super talented. Cam Newton's not the most accurate passer in the world, but Newton is always hurt because he breaks the pocket all the time.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of like when Tony Romo was, because Tony Romo was pretty good despite
he was really good.
Despite the terrible offensive line. I can't tell you how many times I was in Hooters just screaming at the top of my lungs because our offensive line was trash, and we was still able to make it happen. And that's honestly the way I watched the Atlanta highlights because I was shocked. Honestly, I thought that the Eagles were going to run through them, especially after that comeback game versus the Redskins. But then I just saw how hard Atlanta was playing, and then B, yeah, man, honestly, you guys are going to have a terrible season if that offensive line does not get fixed. Like, that's my opinion.
Check this out. Flowmaster just said, Phillip Rivers, no rings. Matt Ryan, no ring. Tony Romo, no rings. Carson Wentz has 1 ring. Carson Wentz does not. Does Carson Wentz have a Super Bowl ring? Yes, because Carson Wentz was a member of a team that won the Super Bowl while he was on that roster.
He was on the bench. Come on.
I can promise you that if somebody asked Carson Wentz how many Super Bowls he has won, he's going to 0.
That's like in NFL Network. I watch it all the time. They have David Carr on there all the time, and they always introduce him as Super Bowl champion. He was on the Giants. He was like the third stringer.
Yeah, he was.
It's like Jeremy Lin, who won an NBA championships on the fucking bench.
Robert Ory, who won 7 NBA championships, but nobody thinks he's the greatest ever. Carson Wentz is. I think he's like 6'5", 245. He is a dude. Wentz is a big. He is a big dude, man. And I think what gets into his head is that it's not that he doesn't respect defenders. It's just that he's used to players bouncing off of him. But guess what? All of the players are big and fast and strong. If the offensive line can start to, and I think the offensive line is going to get it together. You have to understand, because of the new collective bargaining agreement, there's not as much practice time. There's not as much contact. Training camp, I don't think is as long. And that's probably another reason for a lot of these freak injuries here in the first couple of weeks of the season, is because people's bodies aren't conditioned to the contact. I think the offensive line is going to get together. They're too good not to. If Wentz can get it in his head, listen, it's just another 5 yards. Let me slide. Let me just go down. Let me throw the ball away. Another 5 yards is not worth 5 weeks or more on the bench. That's the way I'll end it there. All right, let's move on to our next topic. Dak Prescott. So Dak Prescott had an unbelievable game against the Washington Redskins. He shredded that defense. He is going to have another unbelievable game today against the Miami Dolphins, and the Cowboys are rolling on. Everyone keeps saying, "Hey, listen, man, the longer Jerry Jones puts this off, the higher the price goes. The higher the price goes up for Dak Prescott." We got guys talking about $40 million a season. So I'm going to come to MLD with this one because this is your squad. To me, Dak Prescott, he has proven himself to me. Okay, so he's looked really good against the Redskins, and he looked really good against, what was the first team? And he looked really good against the Giants. Those are terrible football teams. But guess what? If you're a great football player, if you're a great quarterback, you are supposed to look great against terrible teams. Dak Prescott looks great against terrible teams, so I'm not going to take that away from him. Prescott went home and did his homework, man. Dude, Lamar Jackson did too. Dak Prescott, I'm watching him throw receivers open now. I'm watching him make his second and third reads. Prescott is the real deal, man. I had my doubts, but guess what? He's there, he's available, and he's winning football games. Is he worth $40 million per season? MLD?
No. I would not give him 40 million. I think this is a bad move as a businessman right out the back. Once you give these guys a lot of money, they lose motivation. I think 20 million, 20 is good. 20, maybe 30, but I mean 40. Who is making 40 in the NFL right now?
Nobody right now, but Patrick Mahomes next year, he was going to make $40 million a season. Patrick Mahomes, guys, I'm saying this right now, and this isn't really a stretch. Patrick Mahomes is going to be the league's first $200 million player. He is going to make $40 million a season over at least 5 years, and he's going to get $150 million guaranteed.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, if the numbers are going around like that, I mean, then yeah, is he? I don't know if he's worth it, but will he get it? I mean, possibly. Jerry Scott. Listen, the Dallas Cowboys are the most financially successful franchise in the NFL, right? So, I mean, does Jerry got the money? Yes, he does. Is he worth it? I don't know. I don't think Dak has the balls to leave Dallas either. That being said, we absolutely skull fucked the Redskins. I mean, did you see him? He dashed for 42 yards. Did you see that?
Yep, I saw that, and it was against Josh Norman, who was talking shit about Dak Prescott. He was looking for that block from Cooper to spring him, but Josh Norman took the better angle. But yeah, listen, he gashed the Redskins, no doubt.
Now you're 100% right, and like we've only played bad teams, and we're, no offense to Miami J, but we're playing the Dolphins today, who also suck. So I mean, you know, you really can't judge a man. I love you, dog. I love you, Miami J. But you can't judge a team about, like, you know, like you say, you can't judge a man when he's up. You got to judge a man when he's down. And the same thing right now. Like, of course, we can sing high praises. Like, you know, if I went to go fight like sub 16-year-olds and I'm like knocking out all these 16-year-olds, am I really the greatest ever? Like, you got to really test the mettle of the guy when we have hard teams. And I think towards like, it's like towards week 8 or 9. That's when we have a little bit of a stretch when we play the Packers, we play the Patriots. We've traditionally had trouble with the Lions. So around then, that's when I would start really judging him. What's that?
Except last year in the playoffs. Oh no, that Seahawks. The Seahawks beat the Lions last year in the playoffs. Never mind, getting a mix.
Yeah, and I remember one time we were up like 3 touchdowns versus the Lions, and we blew it. It was infuriating. But that being said, I mean, is he worth it? I mean, based off of these past couple of games, yeah. And I think today, dude, our offense is looking pretty good, and our O-line's looking good. And the thing is this too, Dak has got some fucking wheels on him too. So if there's nothing there, this guy is going to take off, which that is also a threat. So I don't know, man. Watch out. He is definitely evolving. He is like what Tim Tebow should have evolved into being. I
agree.
And he's great.
Yeah, listen, Dak reminded me a lot of Tebow in college, and he played like Tebow in the beginning. But his rookie year, he won 13 games. Now, he was an integral part of that. Let's not get that twisted. But they didn't win those games because of Dak Prescott. They won it because of Ezekiel Elliott and that mutant X-Men offensive line. But now Dak Prescott has taken that step forward. Is Dak worth $40 million? I don't know. He could be worth $40 million to the Cowboys. He's not worth $40 million to any other NFL team. But guess what? All it takes is one. He's on the Cowboys. And you also have to remember this too, MLD. The salary cap goes up every year, right? So this is why Mahomes is going to get $40 million a year. I think if Dak gets $40 million a year, that's going to hamstring the Cowboys. They already got Jalen Smith his money. Leighton Vander Esch is another guy who's gonna require a big contract. Of course, you have to take care of a couple of more of those offensive linemen. Charlie, what are your thoughts on Dak Prescott? Is he worth $40 million a year? Yes or no?
The answer to that would be probably not. I mean, right now, you know, the top paid quarterbacks in the league, I think, is like Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, unfortunately, and Andrew Luck, who just. Yeah, exactly. Right. And definitely not, you know, worth the highest paid quarterback. So do I think he's better than the guys who are being, you know, top paid right now? Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, hands down. You know, how much is he willing to do it for the team? Because they got Amari Cooper that they got to sign too as well. Right. And so, yeah, if he's smart, I think he might do a Brady type move and actually, you know, not go for the highest paid quarterback position in the NFL, because it's just kind of a competing game right now between these guys. They all just want to be like, pay me the best because I am better than an average, quarterback, or I'm in the top of the league.
Sure.
But I think he'd probably be better off taking, a little bit of a pay cut in terms of not going all the way to the top and, letting Jerry build a good team around him, because I think his environment is also a good reason why he's been able to build it into, how good of a quarterback he is right now.
And you also have to take this into account too. You have to take into account socioeconomic status. And I'll give you an example. The last quarterback to be drafted number 1 overall who got that super rookie deal, that was Sam Bradford. That could that could have been Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck would have been the number 1 overall pick in 2011. He decided to stay 1 more year at Stanford. The reason for that is because Andrew Luck came from an affluent household. His father is Oliver Luck, who I think was the commissioner of the Pac-12 or something like that. He played in the NFL. Andrew Luck came from a very good family. Another guy, Josh Rosen, he doesn't need the NFL. He came from affluence. But when you talk about a guy like Dak Prescott, he comes from humble beginnings. So it's very easy for a guy like Andrew Luck to leave $72 million on the table for the college experience because money isn't as important to him as maybe some other guys. But Dak Prescott, he came from humble beginnings. And, the words pay cut to a guy like him, I don't think that really makes much to him. And I'm not going to fault any guy for saying, listen, I'm not taking a pay cut for anybody. I'm 100% in agreement with that. Bruh, go out and get your money. You have 8, maybe 10 years in your NFL life to get as much money as you can get. So if people want to bag on him, oh, he's not doing it for the team, that's a consequence of your decisions. But if Dak wants $40 million a year and he thinks he deserves it, I say go for it.
And Don, I think Elliott set quite the precedent, showing that, hey, Uncle Jerry, he will buckle down. He will cave to demands because hey,
that wasn't Zeke Elliott who said that. That was Le'Veon Bell. Zeke Elliott was able to do what he did because of what Le'Veon Bell did last year. If Le'Veon Bell doesn't sit out the season, the Jerry Jones probably doesn't pay Ezekiel Elliott. Right? Listen, Zeke was 2 years out from his contract. Jerry didn't have to pay him, but he said, you know what? We have a Super Bowl caliber team. And if Le'Veon can do it, I mean, Zeke is, 23 years old?
24.
24? It would have been nothing for him to sit out the season, lose that money to get a bigger payday on the end and no wear and tear on his body. Jerry did the right thing, but it was Le'Veon Bell, I think, who paved the way for Ezekiel Elliott to do what he did in part. Zeke had to, he had to hold out. So I won't take anything away from them. Miami Jade, is Dak Prescott worth $40 million?
Well, yeah, I'll be watching him against the Dolphins today because, I hate myself. But
hold on. After today, Miami Jade's going to be Dak.
I will say this. If somehow Miami pulls it off against Dallas MLD, there will be massive amounts of shit talking. But no, Dak is not worth $40 million, not even close. He's not Pat Mahomes. He's not Aaron Rodgers. He's not even Matt Ryan. But he is in a better situation than most quarterbacks. He's got a better team around him than most quarterbacks. So maybe he looks like he could be worth $40 million. I think if you put him in a mediocre team, he doesn't do half of the things he's done. Having said that, will he get it? Maybe. Probably. I would tend to say probably not.
D. Wee has just made an interesting comment in the chat. If you take away Julio Jones, how good is Matt Ryan? This is actually a conversation you could have about a lot of quarterbacks. You take away Jerry Rice, how good is Joe Montana? Right? Yeah. If you take away, but here's the thing. The reason why Aaron Rodgers makes $35 million a year is because he doesn't have to have a $15 million a year receiver.
Exactly.
In my mind, if you're paying a quarterback $40 million a year, you don't need Amari Cooper, right? If I'm paying you that much money, you better be able to make other players around you that much better. I think Dak is worth 33. I'll put the market $33 million a year as of right now. He's betting on himself. He's obviously improved. But again, you have to give credence to some of the reasons why you're successful. Tom Brady does not need a number one receiver to win Super Bowls. Listen, the Tom Brady for most of his career has done it with tiny white guys and a polar bear. Who the fuck was Chris Hogan? Chris Hogan, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. Those guys are Charlie size. but Brady makes them look like fucking Hall of Famers. And then, of course, we've got the polar bear Rob Gronkowski. The
Wes Welker wasn't shit.
Wes Welker, yeah.
Unbelievable. Wes Welker is a borderline Hall of Famer because of Brady. This is how great Brady is. And the one year Tom Brady had a number one receiver, he goes 16-0, and he loses Super Bowl 42 on a fluke super glue catch, David Tyree on Rodney Harrison. So Brady is worth $40 million because he doesn't have to have, top level receivers, running backs around him. Aaron Rodgers, the same thing. Patrick Mahomes, the same thing. I'm going to put Dak at $33 million a season. If he wants $40 million, go for $40 million. I don't think he's worth it, but I think he'll probably get somewhere close to it. All right, let's move on to our our next topic. And area code 951, I see you on the line. I'm going to get to you in just a second. Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, today's game is I think they nicknamed it something like the Kansas City or the Arrowhead Shootout. It is Patrick Mahomes against Lamar Jackson. The Baltimore Ravens are setting the world on fire. Lamar Jackson is setting all sorts of, passing records and this and that and the other, but he's up against Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes he has the best arm in the league. He's a gunslinger. I don't think you were going to win. The only player I know that actually won a shootout against Mahomes was Jared Goff. You guys remember that crazy game at the Coliseum last year where they scored like 198 points or something like that in a single football game? That was probably an anomaly. But the $1 million question is Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. Who you got? MLD.
I got Lamar Jackson. This guy's he's just been playing. His games have been solid. I mean, obviously what they did to the Dolphins was, self-explanatory. And
you had to do it, didn't you?
I mean, dude,
probably illegal in 35 different states. Just saying.
They did some pretty nasty stuff to.
I mean, it was bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it was really bad. Honestly, dude, the Ravens. It's early in the season, but just as a team, dude, they are looking pretty good. And now, of course, it's kind of like the Cowboys. They played the Dolphins, who are trash, and they played the Cardinals, who are trash as well. So, yes, you look awesome and stuff. But at the same time, you did play a bunch of guys that are basically, bench warmers. So I can't really say 100% that this guy is like irrefutably the real deal. But I mean, compared to Patrick Mahomes, I mean, who they've played so far, I haven't been keeping my eye on Patrick Mahomes, to be honest with you.
Oh my God, dude, he's amazing. He is amazing. Dude, Patrick Mahomes has the best arm I've ever seen. He has the best arm I've ever seen. His arm is better than Dan Marino. His arm is better than Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Dude, he throws a cool tight spiral, and I don't know how he does it, man. Dude, off his back foot, left-handed, all kinds of stuff. It's nothing but Hummers, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up the season right now. Okay, so they've played. Okay, so again, they played the Jags, who garbage, and then the Raiders. I mean, God bless. I love that coach. What's his name? Is Gruden, right? I fucking love that guy. So it'll be like 4th and 20. He'll be like, go for it. So I don't know. This will be interesting to see. I have been seeing a lot of hype about Patrick Mahomes, just based off of the way he looks. He doesn't look like too much of a smart guy. So I don't know. We'll see if longevity, if you'll be able to play a good game in regards to.
Clear that MLD has definitely not paid attention to Patrick Mahomes, because if you would know that Patrick Mahomes is a D Ford encroachment penalty away from playing in the Super Bowl last season. Listen, you're in Japan. I'm not going to hold that against you.
Mm-hmm.
This kid, he's out of this world, man. It's crazy.
Well, we'll see. That being said, I mean, I've not been keeping an eye on this kid, so I'm just going to go Lamar Jackson based off of the Ravens team that I have seen.
Good stuff. Good pick, though. Charlie.
Yeah, I'm going with Mahomes all day on this one. In terms of like how NFL players see this type of matchup, they almost never say, like most offensive guys they would tell you basically, I'm not going to play this guy one-on-one, right? I'm playing the defense. I'm playing the other half of their team. So the way that I would look at it in terms of who's going to win this game, I would look at it, on the matchup of, Mahomes versus the Ravens defense, and vice versa for Jackson. I think they're both great quarterbacks. I think they both will be in the league for a very, very long time. and will lift both of these franchises up, on their shoulders themselves. So I think it'd be a very, very good game, but I just can't bet it against the Chiefs. And if I'm right, or if I believe that I'm right, I think the Chiefs are at home today as well.
Yep.
So to me, that kind of tips the scales on this one. I think last year, the Ravens were one of the only teams that brought Kansas City kind of to the brink. And in my opinion, their defense has gotten better. So for me, this is probably the most entertaining game of the entire week. And I think their defenses are better in general than like the game that we had against the Rams last year. I don't think we see a score of like 49-46 or whatever it was. But yeah, maybe high 20s, low 30s, both teams maybe decide by a field goal or less.
Okay, good stuff. Miami J, who you got? Mahomes or Jackson?
I think it's Mahomes all day. I don't think it's even a question. Kansas City is my Super Bowl pick. I'm going to stick with him. I think the jury's still out on Lamar Jackson. Yeah, he's had a couple of good games, but the guy started a total of 7 games in the NFL?
Yeah, 8 games.
Yeah, 8 games. So, I mean, jury's still out on him. Yeah, he's got a pretty good team around him. I think Mark Ingram's probably outplaying himself.
Yeah.
But, and this kid, Hollywood Brown.
Wood Brown, man. Coolest name.
Yeah, he tore Miami up. I was at that game, and my God.
Dude was wide open all day long.
Yeah, it was insane. But, I think the jury's still out on Jackson. I'm not sure he's the second coming of Michael Vick that everybody's – I don't know. I don't know about Lamar Jackson. I think Mahomes is the real deal. I think Mahomes wins this game. I think they'll win it handedly.
I think the Chiefs are going 14-2 this season, and they're going to win the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes is probably going to win a second straight MVP, and I think he wins 3 Super Bowls at least. Listen, Andy Reid took Donovan McNabb to 5 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl. I'm not saying McNabb was trash, but he wasn't Pat Mahomes. This kid, Patrick Mahomes, he's a top 3 quarterback right now, okay? Lamar Jackson, it's clear that he took that criticism seriously, right? Everyone called him a running back with an arm and this and that and the other. He looked at the criticism and looked at the film and said, you know what? They're right. So let me bulk up in the gym. Let me learn to read defenses. And so far, so good, right? But I agree with Miami J. The jury out on where he's headed, but this debate's not close. In a shootout, dude, Lamar Jackson versus Mahomes, it's not even a debate. The X factor is the rain. It is raining in Kansas City right now. It's supposed to be dried up. I think I can't see my TV. It's supposed to be dried up by the time game time comes around. Either way, I don't think they're going to go with the ground game. I think this is going to be an aerial assault. I think it's going to be 45-30 in favor of the Chiefs because the Chiefs don't have a defense. They haven't signed Jalen Ramsey yet. That's the way I'm going with that. Let's go to the phone lines. 914-205-5356. If I'm not mistaken, I think that this is Charles Caballero calling me up. Is this right?
Yes, sir. What's going on, Donovan?
What's going on, brother? How you doing, man?
Doing great. Just wanted a couple things from the past. First off, someone said, who would Joe Montana be without Jerry Rice? I just want to say, Joe did all right with Dwight Clark.
Oh! Yes, he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
All right.
And he went
that was me. That was actually me.
Comeback win in Kansas City against a terrifying, was it Houston Oilers?
Yep.
Yep. All right. Second of all, I want to just real quick shoot back to Dak Prescott wanting $40 million. Here's my question. Let's just assume that he goes to the Super Bowl and Jerry Jones has no choice but to pay him that $40 million. I wonder who they're willing to let go to build up the cap space to do that. That's what I'm curious about.
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What would happen? Is he let up a couple of linebackers? Is he going to let up, is he going to take out the line? Who? Or what about with Ezekiel Elliott? Or how is that going to affect the whole team in that sense? Definitely want to hear Jonathan's opinion first, since he's the Cowboy.
Wait, before Jonathan goes, that's why this is the year for the Cowboys. Okay, this is the year. That's why the next 2 years has to be the next 2 years for the Eagles. We don't have to pay Wentz until after next season. He's already got the guaranteed money, but the reason why we're still able to bring in free agents and pay everybody else is because Carson Wentz's deal has been deferred, right? The Eagles made the long-term backloaded deal with him to bring in talent now. They were able to bring in Jackson. We were able to re-sign Brandon Graham. Vinny Curry is back, et cetera, et cetera. When the Dallas Cowboys pay Dak Prescott, if they pay him $40 million a year, does Travis Frederick come back? Does La'el Collins get more money? I mean, does Zeke? I mean, what happens there? Miami J, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, if I was, I would let Zeke go, honestly. Why? Because running backs are far more replaceable than quarterbacks are. And they have a much shorter shelf life. Zeke has like a 3 to 4 year window to make all his money and all his glory. Running backs don't last that long anymore.
MLD, what are your thoughts? You're the resident Cowboys fan.
So he wants to know that if he's worth the $40 million, or he'll get it, or who should they let go?
Right. So if you pay Dak, he's already paid Zeke. If you pay Dak, if he's already paid Jalen Smith, so if you pay Dak Prescott, you can't pay everybody, right? Leighton Vander Esch is coming up for his deal. Jalen Smith is probably going to want more money down the line. He's just signed a $50 million contract. Who are the Cowboys going to let go in order to keep Dak in Dallas?
That's a good question, man. I would hope that if I was an NFL quarterback, I wouldn't care too much about making a fuckload of money, because at the end of the day, if you're in the NFL, you should be gunning to win a Super Bowl. That is your number one thing that every player should be gunning for. That being said, I don't know, man. I hope that he goes the Tom Brady route, where he's just like because Tom Brady, that's a very smart thing to do. Like, listen, I want to win the fucking Super Bowl. I've already got millions of dollars. I don't give a shit about this. I'll take what is a strategic amount of money. Obviously he's not eating out of a trash can. I mean, anybody, if you make $5 million and invest it, you never have to work another day in your life. So I just hope he goes the route of taking a strategic salary in order to make a great team, in order to win a couple of Super Bowls. That being said, I don't know, man. I mean, our offense is stacked. Jason Witten's on a 1 year contract, but I don't even know how much, like $4 million, $7 million. I don't know how much he's getting.
Yeah, it's like 4. I don't know.
And so, Jason could go. But if we came down to Amari, because one thing that Dallas is kind of undercredited for, we too take nobodies and make them into good wide receivers. Like, who was Gallup before he was in the Cowboys? Who was Cole Beasley before?
Gallup was in college.
Now, see, no. But listen, MLD's making a very good point here, and this was our qualification last time. If I'm going to pay you $40 million a year, you got to make guys around you great. You got to make. Listen, we didn't know. Listen, Julian Edelman is great, but dude, Danny Amendola. Where is Chris Hogan now? Chris Hogan works at Burger King right down the street from me now because he's not on the Patriots anymore.
Yep.
Basically, Brady takes guys who was your local Allstate agent 2 weeks ago, and he turns them into Super Bowl MVPs, right? Now, of course, I say that tongue-in-cheek, but Aaron Rodgers does the same thing. Dak Prescott is doing that now with whoever you were talking about. I still don't even know
exactly. We have Gallup, we have Gallup, we have Witten, we have Randall Cobb, who's way past his prime, and then we got Jarvis is our tight end again, nobody, but he's done some great work. The only superstar, if you will, we have is Amari Cooper, and him and Dak have been laying down some heat. So I think Amari is safe, but the rest of those guys, I think that we could take a bunch of bums and make them into something. Dallas does get undercredited for that.
You know what? Let me say this. If I was a quarterback in the position that Dak Prescott is in, you have a great team around you and you have this opportunity, I would absolutely take less money.
Yeah.
And I would market myself the way Aaron Rodgers has done and just make all my money on endorsements.
Yeah.
And build a great team and build a winner. When you win football games, you're going to get money on endorsements anyway.
Exactly.
So do it that way.
You win for the Dallas Cowboys, you get even more money.
Exactly. That's why I thought Aaron Rodgers' little contract dispute last year or 2 years ago was a total temper tantrum. What the hell does the guy need $30 million a year for? He's got
35,
$300 million from State Farm.
I fucking hate Aaron Rodgers. Can I just say that? I know Charlie does too.
Yeah,
As a
you got two
Vikings
people
fan.
on that one.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers. By the way, Aaron Rodgers, he is also injury prone. He gets hurt. Dude, Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. How many times has he broken his collarbone? And
Twice.
that nagging, listen, that nagging calf injury, that's going to probably start to bother him on cue right around week 13. We're going to see him hobbling around. Yep, there's Aaron Rodgers and that calf injury that's plagued him 3 of the last 5 seasons. He's an injury-prone quarterback too. There was something that somebody said a little bit early. Oh, yeah, so Brenton Wallen says that Tom Brady does it with college lacrosse players, which to me I think is just it's absolutely hilarious. Charles, thanks for the call. Thanks for calling in. Let me get to we'll probably go for about maybe 10 or 15 minutes more here. I'm going to scroll all the way up and we're going to get to some of these other. Somebody said in the chat that they think that Ryan Tannehill is probably going to be starting soon over Marcus Mariota. So let me put it to the panel.
I said that last week.
Yeah, right. So let me put it to the panel here. Are the Titans, are they done with Marcus Mariota? Because we're talking about now the class of, 13, 14? Or it was
14.
It was Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota. To me, Jameis Winston, he's out of there, man. Like he can't do it. Mariota is either there or very close. MLD, what are your thoughts? Are the Tennessee Titans, have they given up on Mariota?
Oh God! One of my really good friends is a Titans fan, and it's just every week I just send him nonstop verbal abuse. I don't know why we're still friends, but that being said, I was never on the Mariota hype train because the Tennessee Titans fucking suck, dude. That team needs a lot. They're a few players away from becoming the New York Giants. That being said, that's actually an example of what I think could potentially happen to is it Daniel Jones, right? Daniel Jones is the name of the guy. I
think so.
That's something I think could happen. I mean, Mariota, he started off, he was running, he was good, but he was young. He didn't get fucked up from being in the NFL for so long, but those injuries stack and you can only lean on your athleticism for so long. I think that is what Mariota has done. He leaned on his athleticism. And now, I mean, I can't even name any stats or anything because it's that forgettable. I mean, if you're still losing to the Colts and the Colts don't even have Andrew Luck, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. You're in a tough spot.
Charlie.
Yeah, I would say that there's a chance that they want to, give up on him. When I was watching that, highlight reel on that game for this week, because I only caught like the last fourth quarter of it when it was live. Well, the other thing actually was Mariota both for the whole game, he was struggling, but especially towards the end there, he had a couple of chances, to just bring his team down the field, actually make something happen towards the end against the Jags, and they just shut him down. I think, I forget who's the Jags coach, but basically he didn't kick the field goal at the end of the game, and he allowed them, he basically forced them to go down the field 90 yards to waste the time so that they didn't have a chance even to get an onside kick and get another chance at a touchdown. So clearly the Jags didn't have, any faith in Mariota. And so that could, hurt his team. But is Ryan Tannehill a better quarterback? I don't think so, really. Yeah. So
right.
I think they're kind of, in a bind, but usually, he's gotten a lot of chances. So, would they be better off trying Tannehill for a few weeks and seeing if that goes better? Sure. I think that's, a good shot, but I don't think Mariota's as good as he could have been.
Miami J, are the Titans done with Mariota?
Well, they should have been done with Mariota 2 years ago, just like the Bucs should have been done with Jameis Winston. That quarterback class was pathetic. Both of them were. They were just the only two quarterbacks worth anything in the draft. That's why they went number 1 and 2. Now, the Titans, they didn't bring Tannehill in to be a backup. You're not paying this guy over $20 million a year to sit on the bench. They brought him in to compete. And, I think Tannehill should be the starter there. And I think he's a far superior quarterback to Marcus Mariota.
Wow. I think it's pretty clear. I think it's very clear that that the Titans have definitely they are going to move on from Marcus Mariota. Anytime there are rumblings of Ryan Tannehill taking your starting job, you are finished.
You fucked up.
if people are if people are talking about hey, listen, Ryan Tannehill's no. You are absolutely positively out of there. Garrett,
Ryan Tannehill's a much better quarterback than he's given credit for. He might surprise some people.
I agree. No, I agree. I think Ryan Tannehill
he did great on the Dolphins.
Well, he didn't do great because he was on the Dolphins.
There you go. And this to me, I think this is organizational, because now we think to ourselves, well, what if Tom Brady was drafted by the New Orleans Saints, right? He probably would never have been Tom Brady. What if Bill Belichick never gets Brady? What if Montana never gets Walsh? Talent, it's not just talent, guys. You have to have the organization. And every once in a while, things just click and you win a Super Bowl. That's what happened with the Packers back in Super Bowl 45. That's why it's never happened again. But Brady and Belichick are a match made in heaven and hell, I guess, for, depending upon which side, which side your loyalties lie on. But I think organization has a lot more to do with the quarterback's success in the NFL than a lot of people probably realize. Another question. Garrett Ball wants to know what our thoughts on Cam Newton are. Cam Newton looks like he is he looks like, you know what? I'll put it to you like this. Cam Newton looks like he is Brady's age, and Brady is playing like Cam Newton should be. MLD, what are your thoughts on Newton? Is he done? I don't know. With the scarf and all the style stuff, I don't know what to make of it, man.
Dude, Donovan, can we pull up a picture of what the fuck this guy was wearing at the press conference?
Well, listen, I want to talk about his gameplay first, and then I'll bring up the picture. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm just talking about the psychology behind it. Honestly, for me, when I knew Cam Newton was not the real deal was when he was in the Super Bowl, the ball was fumbled. He was literally 1 to 2 feet away from the ball, and he choked to recover the fumbled football, and they ended up losing. I just cannot. He needs to want it. He needs to want it very bad. He needs to like we talked about. Not Joe Montana. Sorry, what's his name? Denver Broncos legend. Elway, right?
Yes.
And the helicopter into the end zone, right?
Yes.
That is what you need, and Cam does not have that. And this is I say, this is the trouble you have when you pay these guys too much. You pay Megatron, like $80 million or something. Paid Megatron, and then what happens? 1 season later, he retires, right? Good Lord, he's wearing shit like this. Like, who is this? This is Aunt Jemima's son. Like, what the fuck? What is this guy wearing? Dude,
that's actually one of his better outfits, dude. Some of the other shit he wears.
This is a reflection of what's going on in his head, and it's not looking good. It's not looking good. This guy is 100% done. He will probably get traded to, like, I don't know. He'll probably get traded to a desperate team like the Dolphins or the Browns or something. And then it's just down. It's down and out from the NFL.
You just love trampling on a man's grave, don't you, man?
I mean, I'm just calling it how I see it. What else should I fluff the audience?
I gotta give you shit.
Hang on a second. We have allegations of racism. The Brotherhood of the Wolf says some guys want to. Oh wait, hold on. Never mind. Hold on a second. Somebody just. Oh yes, he says easy with the covert racism. I'm not really sure what anybody has said.
I said he looks like Aunt Jemima's son, because the Aunt Jemima bottle, she has the bonnet on too. I don't know how the fuck somebody wearing a bonnet.
You are a racist, my friend. Get the fuck out of here. Are you serious? This ain't fucking Twitter, man. And the Brotherhood of the Wolf, man, he's a follower of mine, dude.
Oh my god.
Honestly, tuck your skirt in, man. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if any. Dude, listen, Cam Newton looks like Aunt Jemima. He looks right now. He looks like Aunt Jemima's son. If Cam Newton were Cameron Newton and a white guy, guess what? He'd still look like Aunt fucking Jemima.
Yeah.
Nonsense. Don't be pro-black in my chat, dude.
I'm super racist. I live in Japan. I have a Japanese girlfriend, and I teach Japanese children, part of a Japanese gym. My mom, I'm not even fully white. I'm only half white. My white dad left me. So if anything, I should be the opposite. So, I mean.
Now we know you're racist. Now we know you're racist because you just said, well, I'm not a racist. I have 3 black friends.
I don't have any black friends in Tokyo. I need some.
Right. Right, dude, it's a bottle of syrup, for crying out loud, man. Tell me that Cam Newton does not look absolute. Now, he can wear what he wants, right? His freedom of expression is protected by our First Amendment. But he looks like a fucking idiot, man.
Can we pull up a bottle of Aunt Jemima to make the comparison here?
While we're doing that, I want to get Charlie's thoughts on Cam Newton. Is Cam done? Is his game going to evolve? I mean, is he on the back 9? What are your thoughts?
He's definitely on the back 9. He's already peaked. He's already shown us as much as he can do, and that's mainly just because of age. I think he's been in the league long enough. He shouldn't be making any of the mistakes that he's making already, at this moment in time. So I think he is a really good athlete, but it's kind of like reminds me a little bit of when we had Dante Culpepper. We had Dante Culpepper, Randy Moss, Chris Carter. We had that awesome team. And Culpepper, he could fling it down the field any day of the week. It was amazing.
So he was doing this right here. That was when he had Randy Moss. He was awesome.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But his one Achilles heel, which always got us at the end of the game, especially like when we were playing Brett Favre really close, in a division rival game, was, he found a way to fumble it, or he found a way to get an interception, or even if it wasn't his fault, he'd throw it tight into a tight box and it would get tipped, and then it would be an accidental interception, right?
Before MLD says it, then he went to the Dolphins and died.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And so I see Cam Newton more kind of like a player like that. I don't think he's Super Bowl winner material quality at this point in his career.
Nah.
What's his face went to the Dolphins too? The guy who got drafted first round by the Jets, and he then he got injured. Then they traded him to the Dolphins.
Chad Pennington.
Chad Pennington. Yeah, that's another guy.
Hey, let's not laugh at Chad Pennington. He had a few good years with the Miami Dolphins, namely back in 2008 when Brady tore his ACL. The Dolphins won the AFC East that season.
Yeah, but it wasn't because of Chad Pennington. That's because we ran the Wildcat.
Hey, who won the game, right? I mean, come on, man. I hear what you're saying, but listen, Chad Pennington not everybody goes to Miami to die. And I'll also tell you this. A lot of people like to bag on Nick Saban being a failure in Miami. But what gets lost in translation, Nick Saban wanted Drew Brees, okay? The San Diego Chargers drafted Phillip Rivers. Drew Brees was already on that squad. Then Drew Brees in his last game injures his shoulder. Nick Saban wanted to bring Drew Brees to the Miami Dolphins, and the Dolphins doctors told him no, right? So if Drew Brees goes to the Miami Dolphins, maybe we're having a different discussion here. I don't know. I cannot find a picture of Aunt Jemima with the headscarf because apparently that is considered to be racist.
Just type in Aunt Jemima Cam Newton. They all pop up.
Oh, listen, this just goes to show that I am terrible with the Google results. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Miami J, on Cam Newton? Is he on the back 9? Can he change his game? What about his get-ups? What are your thoughts on this?
Cam Newton is the second most talented child in the NFL, and he has been for some time. I think he's done. He's not on the back 9. He's on the 18th hole.
Yikes.
If he keeps playing the way he's playing, I mean, the guy's got 1, maybe 2 seasons left before the. Honestly, if Carolina tanks this year, I can see them drafting a quarterback, and that's the end of Cam Newton.
Yeah. I can see that too.
I think that Cam Newton, he was awesome at Auburn, but what you have to understand is that Cam Newton has never really been a good thrower of the football. He's not terribly accurate. The creator didn't bless him with that physical stature, but he didn't listen. Drew Brees is probably the most accurate passer I think we've ever seen, but he is size, right? Like this is, I mean, the creator can't make you can't have the body of Cam Newton with the toughness of Brett Favre, the arm of Patrick Mahomes, and being able to read defenses like Tom Brady. It just doesn't happen. You have to be there have to be sacrifices. Cam Newton's accuracy is definitely his cross to bear. Let's go ahead and end the show quickly by talking about the spreads. And we're going to try to get through these. We're going to try to get through all of the main games. Quickly, just tell me who you're taking against the spread and why. We're going to start with the Dolphins and the Cowboys. It's the Cowboys. As of right now, it's the Cowboys minus 21. MLD, who are you taking with the points?
Oh, dude, the Cowboys are going 50-0. 50-0. We're gonna match the Patriots 43-0 and raise them by 1 touchdown.
Okay, so you're do the Cowboys cover today, or do they, or don't they?
They cover for sure.
Okay, Charlie, do the Cowboys cover? Yes or no?
Yeah, extremely easily. The Dolphins, I think, will be lucky to get 9 points. They might just be kicking field goals most of the game. If they get a touchdown, that would be like an accomplishment to me for them at this point in time in the year. So no way in hell that Dallas loses, and they definitely cover the spread.
Okay, Miami J.
Today is Josh Rosen's coming out party, and when the Dolphins cover the spread, MLD, that bandana you're wearing, you're gonna put a Dolphins logo right on the front there. All right? No, honestly, I think Dallas will cover.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna go against everybody. Listen, you got to understand, guys. The Dolphins are a terrible team, probably the worst team maybe ever ish, kind of. They're still, listen, they're still an NFL team, man. Dude, there are guys wanting to bail out. They're trading away players. Everybody's talking tank for Tua. Dude, the Miami Dolphins have spent 2 weeks. People have talked shit about these guys for 2 weeks. There are men in that locker room. And even though they are a bad football team, they are a bad NFL team. And at some point, your manhood has to come into play. The Dolphins are not going to win this game, but the Cowboys do not cover. I think the Dallas Cowboys win this game 27-20. I think Josh Rosen comes out and has a better game than we all think, because let's not get it twisted. Rosen's not a terrible quarterback. He's one of those victims of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. He was with a bad organization with the Cardinals last year. He's in a bad organization with Miami this year. Josh Rosen's playing with house money. Nobody thinks the Dolphins are going to even come close to winning this game. I'm taking the Cowboys 27-20. I do not think they cover.
You know what? I think the Cowboys do cover. Having said that, I'm a guy that bets on football for like the past 10 years. I've never seen a 21-point spread in the NFL.
Well, there are two 21-point spreads. We're going to go to our next game, the Jets and the Patriots. The Patriots minus 22.5. MLD. Do the Patriots cover? Yes or no?
No, that's a division game. It's going to be a little bit different. I don't think so.
Okay. Charlie, do the Patriots cover? Yes or no?
I think they have a more than 50% chance to do so. So I think I would just go with yes and lean for they will not let back. I think MLD has a point that it is a division game, so they tend to know each other better over time. But at the same time, they do have a new head coach. So I'm taking Pats on this one, and they're probably going to have a blowout. So, yes, they'll cover the spread.
Miami J, do the Patriots cover against the Jets?
No, they don't cover. One thing people aren't looking at, Adam Gase always had very, very good games against the Patriots when he was with Miami. Adam Gase knows Bill Belichick better than most people. I think the Jets will cover, maybe even upset.
Wow, maybe even the upset. Listen, I agree with you guys. I don't think that the Patriots cover. Their run defense is suspect, and the Jets have Le'Veon Bell. Here's another thing. Their quarterback, Luke Falk, okay, yeah, he's a rookie, and Belichick owns rookies, but there's really not much book or film on Luke Falk. I think the Patriots win this game, but they do not cover. Let's talk about a game that's going to be a little bit closer. Let's talk about the Raiders and the Vikings. It is the Vikings opened as 7.5-point favorites. That line is now -9. Do the Vikings cover today at home against the Oakland Las Vegas Raiders? MLD.
Oh, I don't know. How are the Raiders? Let me check. How are the Raiders doing this? I've not been watching. They're 1-1.
They lost 28-10 last week against Kansas City.
I'm gonna say no because Kirk Cousins is the quarterback of the Vikings. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah, I say we win for sure. I don't think we cover that spread. I think it's going to be a lot closer game than that. I do think, Oakland has a really good offense. Jacobs is a beast. Carr's a really good quarterback. Their line seems to be holding up decently. I don't think they cover the spread, but I think at the same time, the Vikings win at least by 4 points.
Okay. Miami.
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings cover. I think this is going to be a really low scoring game, maybe 17-10, 13-7. It's a Josh Jacobs, Dalvin Cook game.
Woo,
And
excellent. I think the Vikings do cover. I think the Vikings win this game by 10 points, and I'm going to tell you why. The reason why is because this game is on a Sunday and it's at 1:00. Kirk Cousins is not a great quarterback, but you want to know something? He's really good when there is no pressure. You're playing at home in September against the Oakland Raiders at 1:00. If this were in Oakland at 8:20 tonight or on Monday Night Football, Kirk Cousins seems to wither like a flower in the daylight. I think Kirk Cousins throws for 400 yards. Again, people have been talking shit about him all week and all year long. He's not worth the $84 million guaranteed. Kirk Cousins plays his best games at home on Sunday when there's no pressure. I think the Vikings cover. I'm going to take them. I'm actually going to take the Vikings 31-18. I think they cover. I think they cover very easily. Let's take a closer game. I'm going to take a look at two more games, and we're going to go ahead and end this bad boy. The Seahawks and the Saints. Now, it's open. Now, again, this game I think is in Seattle, right? And of course, Seattle used to be unstoppable. They used to be unstoppable at home. Now they've, since the Cowboys went in there and beat them back in 2014, they've got the New Orleans Saints, who of course are down Drew Brees. He's going to be out for 6 weeks. He's got that thumb. Teddy Bridgewater gets the start. It opened at -4.5. That's still the line. Do the Seahawks cover today? Yes or no, MLD?
Yeah, no Drew Brees.
Okay, very good. Charlie.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game, but yeah, I think they will cover that spread. I think the Seahawks are actually underrated this year. A lot of people really aren't talking about them, and I think they're a really good team. I think their defense has gotten better from last year, so I think they have a pretty not easy game, because I think Sean Payton at the beginning in the first half will have some tricks up his sleeve, but by the time it gets to the fourth quarter, they win this game pretty easily.
Very good. Miami J.
Yeah, I got Russell Wilson starting on both my fantasy teams. I think he's going to take over this game, and the Saints are going to have no answer without Drew Brees.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, listen, I think the Seahawks cover as well. They just got Jadeveon Clowney. DK Metcalf is a physical specimen. He's probably a little bit overrated, but if you're open, Russell Wilson will absolutely find him. And, of course, they've also got Tyler Lockett as well. Last game that we are going to talk about, I just had it up. This is a close one. Falcons at Colts. The Colts -1.5. Who wins this game, and again, the Colts are 1.5 point favorites, so it's basically a pick 'em game. Who wins this game? Is it the Indianapolis Colts with Jacoby Brissett, or is it the Falcons, who seem to have found themselves after last week's win against the Eagles? MLD, what you got?
Well, Natty Ice, he threw 3 interceptions last week against you guys, which is
against a bad Eagles secondary,
an awful team. That being said, I think I'm going to, based off of, despite his atrocious performance, who is that running back? Number 20, is it 24, 28?
Devontae Freeman.
Woo, boy, that guy can run.
He's bad.
I will say I got the Falcons winning that one. So no, I do not think the Colts are going to cover that.
Okay. Charlie, what you got, man?
I think Indianapolis wins this game at home, and maybe on a Vinatieri kick. He's struggled recently. And, he probably wants to prove himself as well. But it's going to be a hell of a close game. For me, this is my toss-up of the week. But, yeah, Matt Ryan, he's been an interception machine so far this year. So I wouldn't put my betting money on him. I would say Colts cover the spread.
Miami J.
I think Matt Ryan gets off his snide. I think the Falcons cover very, very easily. I also think the Browns are going to beat the Rams.
Ooh, you think so? Huh?
You're crazy. You're crazy. That's crazier than you saying the Dolphins are going to beat the Patriots.
We're going to talk about that game next. Listen, Browns Rams is very, very tasty. We'll talk about that one. We'll talk about that one last. I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts. They're going to cover. The Colts are going to win this game 23-20. It's going to be tied with 4 seconds left, and 67-year-old Adam Vinatieri comes on and kicks the game for the Colts.
There you go.
23-20 on Adam Vinatieri's probably second greatest kick ever. Of course, his greatest kick came against the Oakland Raiders in 2002, the Tuck Rule game, where then John Gruden was the head coach. Last game we're going to break down, which MLD just talked about, Rams at Browns. That is tonight at 8:20. Dude, I am all in on this game. It is Rams -3 on the road against the Browns. MLD, who wins this game, and do the Rams cover?
I absolutely hate to even fucking admit this, but yes, those disgusting Los Angeles Rams are gonna win and make the cover. I fucking hate that team.
You're
I hate
out of your
fucking
mind.
Jared Goff. I hate them all, dude. The Browns are trash, dude. Who are you joking me? Dude, I don't even. I can't even, dude. But no, Rams. I fucking hate the Rams. I hate that they beat us last year. I fucking hate Los Angeles. I hope that if the earthquake takes that whole stadium right under the fucking ground. But that being said, the Rams, they're a good team. I just fucking hate them.
Real quick before I get to Charlie here. The Eagles, we own the Rams. We beat the Rams 2 years in a row. Once with, as a matter of fact, we had a quarterback with a torn ACL throw a touchdown pass against those Rams. Yes, that was Wentz. And then Nick Foles went in there last year and took him behind the woodshed. Charlie, who you got? Rams or Browns straight up? And do the Rams cover -3?
Yeah, they definitely cover. I think it's not that hard of a game for them. I think although Baker Mayfield's a great quarterback and he has a lot of good weapons, they make too many mistakes. So it's going to come down to turnovers or some sort of mistake, in crunch time in the fourth quarter. The Rams just have a really solid team overall. I think right now you got the Rams, Patriots, and Chiefs as the top 3 teams in the league. So even though it's away, I think the Rams cover no problem. Probably win by about 10.
Wow, Rams by 10. Miami J, what you got, man?
Well, first off, let me say the way MLD feels about the Rams, I just want to say for the record, that's exactly how I feel about the Patriots. Having said that, I think it finally comes together for the Browns. I think they cover, and I think they win this game. Closely, but they do. But they win it.
I agree. Listen, I agree with Miami J. Listen, this is the coming out party. They are at home, national television. The world gets to see. Again, MLD is in Japan, right? He just said the Browns are terrible, which proves that he really hasn't watched much football. The Browns have Jarvis Landry. They have Odell Beckham Jr. They've got all those running backs. You've got Kareem Hunt coming back week 8. They've got Myles Garrett. Listen, I think the Rams the Browns are definitely an undisciplined team. Second-year guy, rookie, second-year quarterback. You got a rookie head coach. They're undisciplined, but I'm telling you, listen, I'm going with my gut. I think the Browns are tired of everybody telling them they're paper champions. I think they go out and they prove it on Sunday night on national TV. I think they beat the Rams, and I think they beat them. I think they beat them by 10 points. I'm gonna go Cleveland 30. I'm gonna go LA Rams 20. That's definitely that's gonna be my tasty pick of the week. There was one.
Are we tracking these? We should definitely track these for the rest of the season to see who.
We're recorded, right? So
Next week I'll write all this stuff down. We'll talk about our spread.
Hell yeah.
We'll talk about our picks against the spread. Guys, this was a great episode. Any last word? We'll go around the panel, get our last words. Games are about to start. MLD, your last thoughts.
No, just thanks for having me on. Body Language Mastery is launching on September 27th, 28th, 29th, 30th, and October 1st. I'll be doing a show with Donovan here, and Donovan will be joining us in the webinars, I believe, for the quarter 3. So everybody who's interested in joining, go to modernlifedating.com/body language to sign up for the waiting list. Donovan, thanks so much. I actually love doing this. I do know, I want to clarify, I'm not that stupid. I do know that the Browns apparently have a team, but I don't believe it. I think Odell Beckham Jr. is on his last leg. I think, he made the one-arm catch last week. Yeah, whatever. I still think the Rams are going to win. I mean, I don't believe. I mean, they're the fucking Browns. Have they ever been okay?
Listen, they were okay last year, and they got more talent this year. Can they put it all together? I think they can. I think the Browns are going to go 10-6. They have a really tough schedule, but I think they get it done tonight. Charlie, what are your any last thoughts?
Yeah, similar. I appreciate you having me on. It's my first time on, so on your guys' channel. So I really appreciate that. Had a good time. In terms of football, the last thing that I'll say is one other team that a lot of people aren't paying attention to that they probably should, especially probably after week 4 here, is the San Francisco 49ers.
Yes.
I think they'll surprise a lot of people this year.
Miami J, your thoughts, and I understand your thoughts were supposed to include, like, I think 10 Hail Marys, maybe 5 Our Fathers during the game today. We're all praying for the Dolphins today. We're all praying for the
No, thanks for having me on. I do love doing these shows. I love talking football all day. Having said that, the Browns will lose to the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game.
Wow.
Mark my words.
Oh, wow.
Also, if anybody in the audience is interested in motorcycles at all, or even if you're not, go subscribe to my channel, 305 Rider, right now.
305 Rider.
We'll wait.
Right now. Do it.
305 Rider.
Today. 305 Rider. Guys, be sure to check him out. Miami J just got a Harley Davidson. I'm totally throwing shade in his direction because he has something that I do not have. He has a motorcycle. I do not. So I am hating on Miami J. I'm just going to be transparent with that. Guys, this was a great show. Thanks for stopping in. We're going to do this same bat time, same bat channel next week, and enjoy the games, everybody.
Peace.